Hello, my YouTube friend. We have a really exciting, fun video today. One I've been working on for a few weeks. I'm really excited to finally be filming this. So if you notice in the background, there's a lot of duplicates, right? You see 2 Thors, 2 Snoopies, 2 Notorious B.I.G.s. So what you see on the wall here are variants. What you might not know is every time I buy a mega epic haul, buy a big collection, I actually compare every single pop I buy to the ones I have already. And I'm constantly looking for variants. I'm looking for box variants. I'm looking for bootlegs. I'm looking for paint variants. I'm looking for sticker variants. And I'm looking for any kind of oddball difference, an error, or just something that's interesting. And some stuff they change. Sometimes they change the mold, sometimes they change the boxes, sometimes they just reprint them a couple years in between, so the paint kind of changes color. And for me, it's really fun trying to find different types of pops and just something unique and different. So it's one reason why it's a little bit slow between when I buy a giant collection, make a video, and get into my store, because I do like to check every pop I have, and eventually I need a big studio space so I can speed that up, because I want to buy a lot more pops, I want to look for a lot more variants, and I want to just have a lot more fun collecting Funko Pops. So as you can see on the wall, we have all kinds of different variants. So in today's video, I'm going to show you a big portion of my variant collection. All right, let's start looking at the pops. Okay, so we have John Wick here. This is, let's see, this one came out in 2017. And then I have the John Wick Chase. And the Chase came out in 2016. Now, I don't have the variant of these, but if you look closely, I'm not sure how well you can see it, but the color of the numbers changed a little bit. And I believe just the color on his beard changed. Like the box, they changed the color a little teeny bit over the reprinting. And I believe it's the same box on the Common and the Chase. So basically, these are box variants. Very slight box variants. Normally with a variant that's this small, I don't really go on my way to keep those. But the big variant I have in here is I have an error. This is the error on the Chase, which I believe this is let's see, 2017 again. So this box even looks slightly different in the color between these two. Sometimes as they reprint them, the color of the paint changes, the boxes change. So there are a variance between pops. But the thing is, I know there's a bootleg out of this too, and some people were pointing out the difference in the color as the bootleg. But these are all legitimate, so the legitimate ones actually change. So the difference in color does not necessarily represent a bootleg. I believe I got this one from Caroline from Australia maybe a year ago. Love this pop. This is one of my favorite errors that I own. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I love when the boxes are offset like that. You don't see them too often, but when I get them, I'm thrilled. So to me, that's a very awesome variant. That's the kind of stuff I'm always looking for. Okay, so this is a 2004, yeah, it's October 3rd, 2014 printing of Sackboy. I got another one of him recently, and I was going to sell it. And then I realized this is the 2015. So what you can see is that it's a box variant. All the pops up to somewhere in 2014, they switched the box. So before, like maybe mid, although this is later in 2000, actually, back then they might have done it backwards. So this actually might be a March 10th instead of a October 3rd. I think it's around April 2014 is when they changed the boxes. So I do like collecting the box variants where the older ones have the picture, so I will keep them. But on top of that, these are also paint variants. His tongue is like more reddish and his tongue like kind of a pinker. And I think the bodies, this one is like a darker brown. This is kind of a lighter brown. So it's a box variant, but it's also a paint variant. Paint variants like that are one of my favorite things to find. I think it's so cool just to find a pop where they changed the paint over the years. So that's an awesome variant. Love that one. Okay, so we have Michael Myers here. A lot of the horror pops, the Jasons, the Michael Myers, the Freddy Kruegers, a lot of these have been reprinted over the years. So there's so many different box variants on these. So I tend to collect them when I can get them. I have 2, I believe. Let's try to figure out. I forget what the variant was. I think first the box is printed. This one's kind of a bluer, and this is a paler color. The pops itself, his eyes are a little bit more pale like brown. This is like darker brown. His eyebrows are kind of more of like a orange color, and his is a little bit more brown. The box, slightly different color. So it's not like a huge difference, but I love Michael Myers. He's one of my favorite horror characters. So he was a variant I decided to keep. Even though it's just a slight variant in the coloring of the boxes, you can see over 4 years, they just changed the printing a little bit. It might have just been, when they remanufactured, they didn't have the right colors, or they might have just changed it a little bit. So that's, I guess his jumpsuit's slightly like a bluer, and this is kind of like more of a paler. So it's a very slight variant, but one I'm happy to have. Okay, so this is a sticker variant. We have the Mickey Mouse from the exhibit. This is the green and yellow one. This is the one you could get on the Funko Shop. And then this is the sticker from the actual exhibit where you would have had to camp out overnight to get it. So this one would have been harder to get than this one. Although, I mean, the values on these are a little bit more, but it's the exact same pop. If you look, it's got the same exact date. The box is the same. The pop itself is the same. So it's kind of one of those cases where it was exciting at first, but then when they decided to just put out a whole bunch more that you could get easier, I feel like it kind of was not fair to the people that camped out. But at least you got the sticker. I have both versions of every single pop in the set. I like having them, but that's just a sticker variant. That's a very common variant. But what I have in this collection is a paint variant. So this one is also from the Funko Shop. When I got him, I didn't realize it at first, but I don't know how well you can see it, but his legs were unpainted. So that's a paint error. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I love getting paint errors like that where they forget the paint part of the pop. So that's one I was super thrilled to add to my collection. Okay, so we have the Captain Marvel chase. And I have an error. It's not really a valuable error. It's actually the kind of error I think makes the pop worth less, not more, because it's not that interesting, but I thought it would be cool to show. So this is the pop. It has an error. It's not a box error, which are my favorite kind. It's a missing piece error. If you look, her arm is missing. So it was a manufacturer error. These kind of errors actually... Yeah, I don't think the piece is in there. I got this from my patron, Raphael. He actually, when he traded in, he didn't realize her arm was missing. I didn't realize her arm was missing. But I kind of like having it just as an example of a missing piece error. I don't really keep these normally just because I feel like you can make that error again if it's just her arm is glued on. Maybe if you put it in boiling water, you might be able to pop the glue. So a missing piece error is not really what I collect. But in the case of this pop, I decided just to keep it, just to have it as an example of a missing piece error. But I usually don't go on my way to collect those. Okay, so we have the Earth One Batman. This one came out in, let's see, that's September 25th, 2016. And then they reprinted it. I have another one. This one came out in, let's see, what is that? September 25th, 2017. So it's almost a year apart. And it's a reprint paint change, or it's the kind of variant that a lot of times you'll find in reprints. Now, if you look at his chest symbol, this one is a lot lower than this one. They like moved it down, and I think on his arm it actually comes down further as well, and the belt's slightly different. Not sure how well you can see that, but basically they changed the positioning of the bat symbol, and I thought that was pretty cool. Very simple paint change. It's not really an error because I think every single one of these looks like this, and every one of these printings look like this, but it's two different paint variants between each other. Okay, we have the GameStop exclusive Carmen San Diego. It's a really cool one where she's translucent on the bottom. I recently got her again. I think I actually got her from my patron Shirla. She traded in a whole bunch of pops. And at first, I was going to sell this one. I did not really notice it. But if you look really closely, this is an offset printed error. As you can see, the hat's pushed up. It's very slight. It's not as big as some of the other errors I have. So I was going to sell it. I just looked at the pop kind of, and I didn't catch the difference in the box. And then as I priced it, I was like, wait a second. So I went back and I looked. I saw it was an error. I thought that was cool. I love getting offset errors like that. I do like them when they're kind of a little bit crazier, or if they're a little bit more pushed up or down. But I thought that was cool, so I decided to keep the error. As you can see, I even had priced it. I was going to sell it for $9, but then once I saw that was an error, I was like, oh, wait, I got to keep that. That's the kind of stuff I want. Okay, so we have original Darth Vader. This is, let's see, 2014, April 4th. It has the face on the bottom, so it's before they switched over. This is what I call a good example of how to reprint your pops. I wish Funko would do this more often, because they reprinted him again, and this is a later version of him. This is, let's see, December 18th, 2014. So the ones that say vinyl bobblehead, those are the original printings. These are worth a ton of money. This one, I think the last time I looked, it was like $170, maybe a little bit higher, a little bit lower. I forget. This one really not worth that much. Maybe like $20, $10. So what you want to look for are the ones that say vinyl bobblehead, not the plain box. But again, this is less than a year later, they reprinted it with a different box. I think that's a great way to reprint your Pops. They should do that more often. I think, yeah, this is even before Disney had bought Funko, because I know they switched again. So anyway, they vaulted this one, but then they brought it back out. I think it's one of the few examples. The Star Wars Pops are the ones that they reprinted. And we have the Vault edition, or the whatever the version is where they reprinted him. And again, this is the way to do it. If you're going to bring a Pop, I wish Funko would change the boxes more often. If they re-released like a con exclusive overseas, they should change the box. Not just the sticker, but the box. I think that's an awesome example of boxes being changed. And it helps. The original collectors that want the exclusive, rare, harder to get version have a version that's worth money. Everyone else who just wants the Pop without spending a ton of money can get a later printing for cheap. And then if they are vaulted or whatever and they want to bring them back, here you go. That's the way to do it. I wish Funko would have followed this way of printing their boxes more often, because it really bugs me when a Pop is like, they release it, it goes up in value, and then like 4 years later they print the same exact Pop, and the only difference will be the date on the bottom of the box. I think it's cooler when they actually change the boxes. Love these. This is really cool. I love collecting all the Star Wars variants that I can get. Okay, so this is, let's see, it's a Marty McFly from, let's see, January 11th, 2014. This is a mass-produced error. So it's not really that rare, but it's worth a little bit more. So it's the number. What happened was they accidentally used the wrong number. I think it was supposed to be the Pulp Fiction set that had 61. So they had to reprint it. And let's see, this is the later printing. And so they corrected the number to 49. And this is from October 21st, 2015. I actually think the later printings are rarer. I forget which one is valued more. It might be the later printings that are valued more. Either way, it's really cool. I love getting both versions of boxes when they do little changes like that. I think that's kind of fun. And it's an error, but not like a one-of-a-kind error. It's just a change. And if you look at their faces, actually, he looks a little bit more pinkish. So they changed the paint a little bit on the different printings. Very cool Pop. Okay, so we have a Western Morty. It was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive from 2008. And at the same time, they had a Western Rick. Very cool set. I was happy to get those. But then when you mix them together, you get one of the most awesome errors that I have in my collection. And so we have the Western Morty in a Western Rick box. But the box cutout is for a Western Morty. So it's the correct box they just printed. If you look, we have the Western Rick printed on the Western Morty cutout. I thought that was an awesome error. I love this one. Such a cool, funny box error. I don't even know how that happened, but I love it. And I haven't seen another one, so it might be a one-of-a-kind error. I don't know. Actually, have any of you guys seen a error where they put the wrong blank in and printed on it? That's a type of error I have only seen the one time. Love it. It's one of my favorites. Okay, so here's my original Deathstroke. This was, let's see, April 18th, 2014. Absolutely love this Pop. I love how striking the blue and the red is. And just great, strong, striking color. And then I got another one. I thought it was a duplicate. I was going to sell it. And then when I compared the two, I was like, wait a second. This looks very different. So this is a April 9th, 2015. So that's almost a year apart. If you can see, this one, his eye is not painted black. The blue is very faded compared to this. The red has like a thicker black line, and the behind the eye is like a pale blue or a gray almost, whereas this one has a deep blue. And I think the body is a little bit lighter on this one. Very weird, but very awesome variant. I love these. I don't know if either one are mass produced, but I'm assuming all the ones from this printing look like this and all the ones from this printing look like this. Unless if you guys have one of these two boxes and they look different, let me know, because I'm curious if one is an error or if they just changed the printing for each printing. Awesome. Love them. Okay, so this is Emperor Palpatine. This is a May 2014 printing. What happened was when they reprinted him, let's see, the other one is from November 20th. They made him pink instead of like a yellow. So this is a known variant. I think the pink version is actually worth more. It's a later printing, but they didn't make as many of these, I believe. So I think I might be mixing up. One of these two I know is worth more than the other, but I just think it's really cool that it's such a big paint variant. It's not just like a slight paint variant, but huge. Look at the difference between colors. That is crazy. Love those two though. Very cool Pops. Okay, we have the Hound from Game of Thrones. This is a bootleg. My patron Charlie sent this one to me. He accidentally bought it. This is kind of, he got it when he first started collecting, so he wasn't aware. And then we have the legitimate one. So if you actually saw these in a picture, it'd be really hard to tell which one's the fake one if you don't know what you're looking for. It looks pretty much the same, but I'll show you a couple of the things to look out for when you're buying these. And see, first of all, the bootleg is missing the sticker. Anytime I see a pop missing its date sticker, that's the first red flag. Now, some legitimate pops are missing their sticker. They just, sometimes they fall off or they're just missing. But when I see the sticker missing, I think, okay, this might be a bootleg. So I start looking. First of all, the box is flimsy, like kind of when you squeeze it, you know, give it a squeeze. This one feels a lot more flimsy. This one doesn't have as much give. If you can see, this one's a lot shinier. If you look at the 5s, the bootleg's really skinny and weird looking, and this one is not. And then the pop is kind of faded, and you don't see the little dots as well. And just the color looks kind of grayish. It kind of looks slightly blurry. So the bootleg, when you have it in hand, you can kind of tell. I almost recommend just having one bootleg in your collection just to be more aware of them, because it's becoming more and more prevalent and it's getting harder and harder to tell. Oh, you can also tell the pop itself. He's kind of like darker and he's kind of more gray, and it doesn't look as good. It looks like, I don't know, the way it's printed or molded, it just looks weird. So that's something to look out for. But again, that's the kind of variants I like looking for, because I like having the bootlegs in my collection, just so that I have the knowledge, I'm more aware of them, and I can share with you guys so that more of you know what to look for when you're looking for bootlegs. Or if you're looking to see if the one you have is legitimate, or if you're going to buy one, you want to know the kind of things to look for in bootlegs. All right, we have my original 2015 Harry Potter. I bought this one when it was new, so that was cool. And recently they reprinted him, but with the newer box. So again, this is reprints done right. This one, let's see, what's the date on this one? Down on the bottom. This is April 20th, 2020. This is 2015. So basically they waited 5 years. Actually, I think he's been printed a few times, but I like when they reprint a pop that's older like this. They didn't vault them, but they changed the box. So original collectors can get the original one. This one really isn't worth that much. It was worth a little bit more, maybe up to $20 before the reprint. When the reprint came out, this kind of dropped in value. But I think as a collector, it's nice to have an earlier box. So when they do a reprint, it's something different. If you're kind of a completionist collector, you can get both. You know, that's me. Or if you want just the original, you go for the original. Or if you just want a cheaper version of the same pop, you get the new one. So it's cool. And I think the pop itself looks a little different. Like his glasses are closer to his body. And the newer one just looks a little bit more refined. So if you want a nice pop, it's almost nicer to get the newer ones, just because they'll probably upgrade their ability to mold them and whatnot. But still cool. I like when they reprint with a new box. It's the best way to do it. Okay, so this is one of the first variants I ever found. It's the original Triwizard Harry Potter number 10. It came out, let's see, what was that? January 15, 2016. I actually think I ordered a case of him for my store, 6 pops. I was going to sell them. So when I went through the case, I found this one. His eyeglasses are molded funny. So this is one of the first weird variants, and the first time I kind of became obsessed with finding variants. Absolutely love that. I love when they have a weird printed version like that. Very cool. And also, this one, his shirt is printed kind of a little bit sideways. So I might actually need to get a third one. I just noticed that. So this one might actually be a printed variant as well. Very interesting. All right, I love those. Okay, so we have a Big Bang Theory Sheldon. This is the original 2013 release. When they reissued him in, let's see, 2014, so like a year and a half later, they actually changed his skin tone. So the original one is very pale, and the later printing is more orangey pink. So if you can see, it's just a skin tone change. I do love collecting pops when they change the skin tone like that, because I think it's like a weird variant. I'm pretty sure all the ones from this printing look like this, and all the ones from this printing. So it's not rare, either one, but I like having both versions of it. Okay, so we have a Flaky or Flaky. It's a 12 Days of Christmas from 2018 pop. Really love this pop. I think he looks really cool. And then we have just a placement error with his cigar just glued in a little bit differently. I think this is the way he's supposed to look, and this one is pointed more straight. So again, this kind of error, you could probably recreate. If you took him, put him in boiling water and kind of loosened the glue, you'd probably be able to pull him out and re-glue it. So I don't think a variant like this does not really change the value too much, but I just like having different variants like that. I think he looks cool. Okay, so this is one of the first Pops I got. Probably before I even had 10 Pops, I bought him. He's a Hot Topic exclusive pre-release sticker. I have a feeling the Pops with the pre-release stickers from the early, was it 2014, 2015? I think these will have more value in the long run just because it's rarer to get it with that sticker. But I remember buying that one, and then I found this one at the same time, and I just saw his hair was just positioned funny. It's like over his eye, it's pushed down. I think the mold is just pushed, like it's over his ear a little bit. So somehow it was either misshaped or squished down. And then I found another one that's even weirder. This one's pushed really far down. It's like covering that one eye completely. I just thought those are really weird variants or errors. I don't think I've seen any others when I've had them before or when I look online. The two with the weird head molds or where it's pushed down, I just don't see those ever. So I think these are kind of rare, and it's weird that I found two at the same time. It must have just been a flaw during that batch that they were making. Absolutely love it. I love having them. And he's become kind of a valuable Pop. So it's kind of cool to have 3 of them. But it's also cool to have 3 that are just weird variants. Now, these pre-release stickers, they fall off all the time. Somehow that year, like 2014, the glues that were being used in China, I think these were made in China. Yeah, in China, just didn't work so well. So there's so many Funko products where the glue fails from this era, 2014-ish. Like a lot of the reaction figures, the bubbles pop off and whatnot. Anyway, I thought that was a cool error. And this is like, I only had probably 5 Pops at the time, maybe 10. So it was, you could definitely tell. I was like, oh, wow, that's a cool variant or a cool error. So I was collecting them right from the beginning when I could find them. Okay, so we have the Around the World in a Day prints. Very cool Pop. I love the Pop Rocks line. This was, let's see, July 20th, 2018. And then a few months later, they reprinted him in, let's see, November 30th, 2018. And with the reprint, they changed the paint. So the original mustache is kind of like a paler brown. And this is kind of like a richer brown. And, I think there's 1 or 2 other little changes I saw, but just the fact that they changed his mustache, I thought was kind of cool. So I ended up keeping both of them. It's not really too exciting of a variant, but it's interesting enough for me to keep both. Okay, so we have a Mr. Robot Darlene. Recently, I got another one of her. It's from the same exact printing batch, but I think there was just something happened to the paint that messed up the paint on her glasses. This one has gold paint. This one has kind of like a grayish paint. So it's just like the gold, just maybe when they're mixing it, the density of the gold just did not mix right. So her glasses are a little bit off. So I thought that was a cool little variant. Okay, we got some sticker variants here. We have a Foot Locker exclusive bronze Michael Jordan. Absolutely love this Pop. I think he's cool. This was, let's see, March 11th, 2019 he came out. And as you can see, he's a Foot Locker exclusive. But at the same time, we also have a hobby stock exclusive version. So I don't know if Funko knows what the word exclusive means. Because if there's 2 different versions, it's not an exclusive. What I'm assuming is that maybe this was the Canadian version, or it was another country outside the US, and that's why they do that. It's always drove me crazy that they'll call one exclusive, but then they'll release it in another store in another country and also call it exclusive. And then like a year later, they released it overseas as well. So this is the international sticker. So we have 3 different sticker variants, and they're exclusive to different areas, I guess. But this drives me crazy. This is the kind of stuff that's really bad for the hobby, I think. I remember there was a Loot Crate Marty McFly. I was like, oh, that's really cool. I really want to get it. And then they released that Pop Culture, and I was just like, okay, so how can it be exclusive to one if it's released a few different places? I never understood that. I think that's the kind of thing that kind of hurts the hobby a little bit, but it is what it is, and the crazy collector I am, I end up collecting all the different stickers if I can. Okay, so this is a collection of very slight different variants. It's nothing too kind of crazy, but this collection kind of went together based on one single Pop here. So we have a Super Saiyan Goku right here. he is missing a sticker or a stamp on the bottom. So when I got him, I had concerns that maybe he was a bootleg. Not sure. The box looks nice. It looks legit. Nothing stands out as looking funny to me. But as you guys probably know, my philosophy is if I get a pop that I'm concerned with, that I'm not sure if it's a bootleg or not, I just keep it until I can kind of verify it. So over the years, I started collecting different versions that are very slight versions of him. So we have a 2018, it's a August 28th version of him. And it's, if you look, I think the cutout on the box itself is different. Like the lines are slightly different. Like this one pointy a little bit, and this one is kind of more round. And this one has like a round edge here, and this one kind of cuts funny. And sometimes the bootlegs kind of cut funny. So I was like, oh wait, is that a bootleg? But the rest, you know, and it's also a box variant because this has the warnings at the bottom, and that's 2014. So the newer boxes are like this, older boxes. So it could be a legit, just an older version, like 2015 maybe. So I have that version of him. And then, let's see what we got here. Okay, and then I got older version of him. So this is a Super Saiyan Goku. This is a 2014 version of him. The stamp's small. So if you look again, the cutout is different between these. This one's kind of chunkier, and this one's kind of more curvy. So it's a little bit weird. It does have the older box, but the boxes are different. But again, the pops themselves look pretty much the same. I don't think there's a variance in the paint jobs. So again, a different cutout. So I'm still concerned about that one. And then, let's see. And then I thought maybe I could tell the age from a different one. So we have the glow-in-the-dark Entertainment Earth exclusive Super Saiyan Goku. This is, let's see, 2015. And I think this kind of matches this, although this one's pushed over a little bit. So I think these are made around the same time, 2014, 2015. So those are similar. Let's push that back. And then this is a, this is the same exact one. This is 2018. So if you can see the cut changes on these two. So it's the same pop, but they changed the cut on them. And this is 2018, 2016. So this is a reprint 2 years later. So obviously they changed the box. This one is a little bit shinier on the paint job, but they're pretty much the same. Yo, and they're all legitimate. Nothing looks funny. Nothing looks fake. And so I couldn't figure out what that was, but then I found this one. So we have the Loot Crate Gold version of him. This one's from 2016, and then I realized the cutout on this one matches this one. So what I'm thinking is this is a 2016 print. They probably made this one at the same time they made this one. They used the same exact box, and they, you know, just changed the pop inside the box. And they just, the sticker either fell off or is missing. So that, after that point, I realized that was legitimate. But it wasn't until I found the box where the cutout and everything matches that I could tell that this is 2015. I have a 2014. I have a 2018. So this is kind of like a set I like to keep just to remind me of how boxes can change over the years and how they can change the way it's cut. I think there's a bootleg version of him floating around as well. So I would like to get the bootleg just to kind of compare it to these to see which year they're trying to copy or see how the bootleg looks. But it's cool. I like having variants like this because it helps educate me and let me know more about pops. And honestly, normally I probably wouldn't keep this many variants of the pop because the differences between the boxes are so slight that I usually only keep them if they're bigger variants. But in this case, because I had the one pop I had concerns on, I thought it was kind of like a fun adventure to try to figure out what was what. And in the future, if I ever have a big studio space, I would love to get an archive where I get every single print of each pop and just have a big reference library just so that you can figure out what's a bootleg or why one looks a little different than the other. Because boxes and stuff do change over the years as they reprint these things. Okay, we have a 2017 Perfect Cell, and then we have a 2018 Perfect Cell. These are just a slight paint variant. I believe, yeah, his spots are kind of like darker green, and these are more of like a brownish green. And I think his face is a little bit bluer, and this one's a little bit more pale. And on his body, I think that, yeah, the spots are different on the body as well. This one's green, this one's kind of brown. So I don't know if either one of these are rare or anything. I just thought it was a neat little paint variant, and it was a big enough variant that I decided to keep both of them. Okay, we have a 2014 Roller Girl Harley Quinn. This is the cool one with the pre-release sticker on it. I love it because it's based on the Amanda Conner Harley Quinn #1 issue. I thought that was really cool. And then we have a 2015 version, so it's like a little bit later. And I think, if I remember correctly, yeah, her face is kind of like paler pink, and this is kind of a bluer pale. So just the different color in the vinyl itself is why I kept them. Plus, it's a sticker variant. One has a pre-release sticker. This is a later release of it. So it was enough, a little bit of difference. Plus, I really love this pop, so it's one I thought would be cool to have both versions. Okay, we have a Peter from Family Guy. It's a April 9th, 2015 release of him. Just a normal release. I got him, and then like a year or two later, I got this version of him, which is like the Harry Potter. His glasses are just molded funny, or there's an error in the way they printed his glasses. They're kind of like shorter, or they're squeezed a little bit like that. So I thought that was a really cool error variant. And it's from the same exact date. So it's from the same batch. So probably what happened was there was just the error in the machine while they were making these. Honestly, variants like this where it's a part that's misshapen or the wrong shape, or this one's the wrong shape, it's variants like this that I love the most. Okay, so we have an original Obi-Wan here. It's the vinyl bobblehead one, the more valuable one. I wasn't going to put this one in my variant collection video here because I didn't really have a variant. I did have the out of the vault version of him, but the Darth Vader I already showed you. I had all three versions, so I was going to use that instead. But right while I was setting up for this video, I got another one of these Obi-Wans, and he ended up being a paint variant, which I was actually shocked. I was like, oh cool, I'm going to sell him for 40 bucks, get some of my money back from that collection. And then I realized he's a paint variant. So if you look at his tunic, this one's kind of like a pale yellow, and this is kind of a richer yellow. So this one was 2015 August, and this one is February, or maybe, not sure exactly the date, because that looks like the newer sticker, even though that's a later date. Maybe it's, I'm not sure. So I thought it was really cool that there's just a paint variant on those two. So to me, that was really neat. I ended up keeping both. Okay, so we have Jason Voorhees. Again, a cool old school horror character, just like my Michael Myers. This is another one where throughout the years they've reprinted him so many times, and each time it's a little different. So this is 2014. If you notice, he has a very dark gray, which is interesting because they changed it back to the normal light gray with later releases. So let's see what we got. We got a 2017 right here. So if you can see on his face, this one is yellower and this one's pale. I like the original one better. I think it just looks nicer than this one, and the splatter looks nicer. And I think his pants are a little bit paler. These are a little bit more rich in color. But as you can see also, this box, dark gray, light gray, very weird, different version of that one. And I think the box otherwise is pretty much the same. Well, no, I guess the box is different too. This one just looks darker than this one. Just the color changes. And I know, just confusion, a lot of people might think one of these is a bootleg, but I'm pretty certain these are both legit because it's just a printing variant. And then we have, let's see, oh, we have a 2016 here. So this one actually predates this one. So we have 2016, which again, lighter box, not as dark, more yellow, more saturated in this one. This one, the splatter is kind of similar. So I like this one better than this one. But I think these two are different as well, if I remember correctly. Boxes look pretty much the same. This one's maybe a little bit darker in tone. Let's see. No, I don't see. So yeah, I think I mostly just kept it because the splatter is different. The rest of him is pretty much the same. Still, the original one I think is my favorite. I think it looks better. And then we have another 2018. This one, the mask is a little bit more pale than the richer color ones. So I almost like it a little bit better. But as you can see, this is a box variant because with this printing, they took off the face, which is crazy because usually the face changed in 2014. This is one of the few boxes where they kept the face on the bottom up till 2017. So 2018. Now, the thing with 2018, No, I guess 2018. Yeah, if I remember correctly, this one looks so dark. Look at the color difference on the box. You can barely see the details. I mean, you almost think this one's a bootleg, but I'm pretty sure it's not. It looks and feels legitimate. There's nothing about it that stands out as being fake. I just think that they changed the box with each reprint. If you're going for one of these, they're not really super valuable, but I would try to find a 2014 version. I think he just looks the best out of all of them. But I do like finding all the different variants of the horror guys just because I love them. I think they're awesome. Okay, we have a 2014 Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z. And we have a 2016 Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z. Now these are just a paint variant. His face is kind of a richer green. This is kind of a darker green. His arm is painted a little bit different than that arm. And his tunic or bodysuit, this one's kind of like a lighter purple. This is a richer purple. And the box itself, this is kind of a lighter one. This is a darker one. This is more of like a Barney purple. This is more of a nicer purple. So the box is a little bit different. Yeah, the box color is different. But everything else is the same. So not a big difference, but enough of a variant that I decided to keep them. Okay, so we have a Snow Trooper from Star Wars. It was a Walgreens exclusive. This is the original sticker. This came out in, let's see, July, I believe, of 2015. And then they reissued them again in, oh, it's the same exact month, just later in the month. So this is the beginning of the month. This is the end of the month. They changed the sticker, but what I really like, it's not only a sticker variant, it's a color variant. This one's kind of a paler color. This one's kind of a darker, it has like a bluish tint to it. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but I thought that was a really cool variant. I really like, it's a double variant because it's a sticker variant and a paint variant. Okay, from Crimson Peaks, we have a, I believe 2015. Yeah, 2015 New York Comic Con exclusive. And then I found a error where it's just like a paint error, where her dress, the red, is just printed higher, and this is how it's supposed to look. So I thought that was kind of cool. Not really like a super valuable or that interesting of a variant of her, but I thought it was pretty cool, so I had to keep that. Do you guys remember in 2017 we had the Pennywise craze, where the first batch of Pennywises came out with blue eyes? So there's a bunch of different versions of him with blue eyes, but they're supposed to be yellow, green. So I have the variant of that. So these, I don't have all of them, but I have some of the variants. I would like to finish that set of both eye colors. And even like the shape is different on those. But I also have a third variant of him. That's why I want to show you this one. And this is a part error. So if you look, he's got two right hands, I guess you call that. So he has two right hands on there. If you look, the hand is wrong. So I thought that's really cool. Again, I don't think these kind of errors are worth that much, because if I took these two, I boiled it, I could maybe pull off a second hand and glue it on there. So I don't think an error like this will ever have much value more than the normal version. I just think it's kind of cool and it's kind of neat. And I recently bought it. I bought it for like $1 plus $5 shipping. So he cost me $6. So I thought it was fun just to have a little error for a cheap price. Okay, so we have Batman #1. I probably have 4 or 5 different versions of him. They're all just slight versions. His belt changes. Again, as they reprint them, they change them. I didn't pull the whole thing out because I didn't find it that interesting. But I decided to pull them out just because I can show you this one. This one's a bootleg. I mean, it's a different box, but that's just, the earlier boxes of him have the blue, and the later one has the black, so that's not the difference. But I love showing this one because it's a bootleg that says Superman on the side. To me, that cracks me up every time I see it. But, you know, it doesn't look too bad. I guess I probably should have pulled out the box that this matches to, but I didn't feel like digging it out. Okay, so we have a couple of Saurons here from the Lord of the Rings. They're just a slight paint variant. This one's kind of like a little bit darker. This one's a little bit more like shiny or richer in color. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but absolutely love this pop, and I loved having a variant of it. It's a year apart from when they were manufactured, so I think they just slightly changed it as they were manufacturing them. Very cool pop. Okay, so we have the Jack Skellington #15. This was 2014. Then they reprinted him in 2018. And with the reprint, they made his head kind of yellowy. So it's a paint variant. I prefer this one. I like it more of a skeleton kind of color and not really that color as much. So it's really just a paint variant. But I wanted to show you guys because I you know, it's an awesome pop. That's why I kept both of them. Okay, so we have a really awesome Beetlejuice pop here. This one's from 2014. And then I have a 2017 version of him. I believe he's a slight paint variant, like around his eyes. This is a slightly different color than this one. And it's also a box variant, where this is the dark box and this is the lighter box. So this is another one that they changed from dark to light. Very cool. Okay, so this is one I found recently. We have Slick Morty. And then we have a variant of Slick Morty. Same exact pop. I think this is the first release. Now, if you look on his belly, where the barcode is, it's yellow. And then on this one, it's skin color. So I have a feeling that this batch of them, they printed wrong. And they're probably all like that. It's not a one-off error, but just a mass-produced error. And then they corrected it. Very cool, though. I like getting both versions of pops like that. Okay, so this is another one I found recently as well, and they're from the same batch. So we have Ragnarok from Fortnite. It's a October 30th, 2018 release. And then we have another Ragnarok, and this one, his pupils are painted in white. Not sure how well you can see that, but to me, that was just such a weird variant. I don't know which one is the correct version. I don't know if it's like a secret chase. I don't know if maybe one glows in the dark. I should probably test that out. I haven't really looked into it that much. All I know is when I saw those pupils, I was like, wow, that is weird. That's a variant. I don't have that, so I ended up keeping that one. Okay, so we have another old school awesome horror pop. We have Freddy Krueger. This is a 2014 version. So we have a 2018 version of him. Now let's compare the boxes. This one, again, is dark, has a face, no face. If you look at his shirts, this one, the green is darker. It's kind of more pale. His hat's kind of more brown. This one's kind of more of like a reddish brown. So again, and I think just the way they splattered the hat is a little different. Also, the way they painted his face is a little bit, like this is shinier, not as shiny. So, and then if the box, this one has a different warning than the bottom. So it's two different variants just based on reprints. But he changes a lot, so I have a few others. Let's see what we got here. 2017 version. So let's look at it. Okay, so let's look at the bottom of the boxes. So it's a lighter gray, face, no face. It's, you know, versus dark, not dark. And then if you look at the greens again, this shirt has a much richer green, like more of, like a forest green. This is more of like a olive green. The hat, I think actually these hats match more. But again, the green on this one is more of a forest green. This is more of like an olive green. His pants are more reddish brown. These are kind of like a lighter brown. So the paint is different. The box is different. Another variant. And then we have a 2015 version of him. I love Freddy Krueger, so it's just like, I'm going to get all these different versions. So we got light versus dark. Let's see which one it's closest to. Nope. So these two will be the closest boxes. So 2015 versus 2017. Again, I think this green is lighter than this green, and his legs are like a more reddish brown versus this is like a darker brown. And the hat, this one has darker splats on it. So they're all like a little bit different. Each time they make them, they change the color. It's so funny. And then I just have the chase that I'll show you. I have the chase with the 2015 box. Let's see which one's 2015 again. 17, so this one. So these two should be close. And they are pretty close, like the shirt and the pants and the hat are all kind of the similar color. So you can tell these are made at the same time. So this is probably the common and the chase from this batch. Well, no, they're two different batches, but they're similar time. So they didn't change them up too much. But to me, it's fun that each printing of this figure, it changes just a little teeny bit, but enough that it's noticeable. Okay, so this is from the 2018 New York Comic Con. We have the Notorious B.I.G. with Crown. It's the Toy Tokyo exclusive. And then I just have the sticker variant where we have the shared exclusive, I guess. I don't know where he shared, though. Since he was a Toy Tokyo exclusive, maybe the Funko Shop. I kind of forget. I might have got this one in Pop Culture, if I remember correctly. I'm not sure. I just like getting all the sticker variants when I can. So that's sticker variants. Okay, this is an awesome pop I got in, let's see, it came out in June 2015. We have Woodstock and Snoopy. I love this pop. I just remember when I filmed it, I had the hardest time getting him to stand. And I think Woodstock's feet are a little bit bented funny. So I think what happened was they had to retool this one because most of them, or if not all of them, were like that. And so I got another one of him later on, maybe a year or two later, and I was going to sell him. But then when I got him, I realized he was different, very different actually. So if you look at the Snoopies, the box placement, it's a different tray. They changed up the tray. The Snoopy itself, this one's smaller, so they made him bigger. And Woodstock, if you notice, he's bigger. So what I think is they retooled him so he would stand better. But the biggest thing I noticed was these ones, he's white vinyl and Woodstock is yellow vinyl, whereas Snoopy is painted and Woodstock's painted. So they went from a vinyl to a painted version. I prefer the vinyl version. I kind of wish they made the larger size to stand better in the vinyl version and not painted. But it's a cool variant. I love variants like that where they change just the shape and the paint and all that. Okay, so we have the Rainbow Batman line. I absolutely love this line. It came out, what, 2015? It's based on a Silver Age Batman comic book where they were multiple Batmans, all different colors. I'll actually put that on the screen so you can see what it's influenced by. But every single one of these pops has two different versions of the pop, which I have all of them. So let's see which one was first. So April, January. So what happened was the first batch of these, they had a painted body where the gray is painted. And then when they reissued them, the body is vinyl. I think this one's actually a different body too. I think the body's a little bit wider and the head's slightly different. So they retooled them. I don't know why they retooled them, but I think it's cool that there's two different versions of him. And every single one there's two different versions of. So wait, we'll do that like this. So again, we have the painted purple version, and then we have the vinyl purple version. This one is like slightly more pink than this one. I prefer the color on this one, but I kind of prefer the vinyl bodies on them. And then we have the green version. Again, the original release, painted body. Second release, vinyl body. This one's kind of more yellow than this one. Very cool though. We have the pink version of him. This, again, this one's painted, kind of a more pale pink. And then this is a little bit richer pink, vinyl body. Very cool. We have the yellow version. Again, this one's painted, this one's vinyl. And I think the painted one's a little bit pale. And this one looks like there's a little bit of an error where someone had to go in and fix the paint, but it looks sloppy. So I think they switched it out because all of these probably ended up being kind of sloppy. And they probably wanted to improve it. And then, let's see, the final one we have is the orange version. Again, the orange version, we have painted and vinyl. And they're pretty much the same color. Maybe this one's slightly more pale. Very cool, though. I do like this set. I love this set, actually. And I love that I have both versions. Okay, so we have a 2013 Blackest Night Batman, and then we have a reissue 2015 version of him. And I forget what is... Okay, this is like the Rainbow Batmans, where this one's the body's painted, and this one is vinyl. So they changed him as well. The paint looks pretty much the same. The box is pretty much the same. This one says Hot Topic. I don't know if I just lost the sticker on this one. But as you can see, it's just a change in the vinyl to non-vinyl. I kind of like collecting when they have two different versions. There's a whole bunch of things like that. I think a lot of the Stranger Things pops are like that. Okay, so we have the DC Bombshells Hawkgirl. And then we have two versions of her. They're from the same batch. So they're both from October 4th, 2017. But they must have... something happened to the paint where some of the dyes were missing or something. If you can see, she has a pale top and she has like a darker beige top. I'm not sure how well you can see the difference in those, but I thought that was a really cool variant. This might actually be more of an error. I don't know how many. I don't know which one is the correct version. Let me know if you guys have her, which version is the correct version. And I don't know how rare or how common the lack of... I guess that one's less saturated. I don't know how common that is. Okay, so this is the regular Flash. I think I actually have more variants of this one. I just pulled out two. What happened was this one has a thin stripe on him, and this one has a thicker stripe on him. And this one has like kind of a darker brown face, and this is kind of a lighter face. So it's too similar, but I like the Flash. So I decided to keep both of these. And I think I have 1 or 2 other variants of him from over the years, because this is another pop that they've reprinted 1,000 times. Okay, so we have the normal Wonder Woman. This is a 2016 version of her. I was at Target one time a few years ago, and I picked her up, and I just like, something was weird about her. It took me a few seconds to realize it. Then I realized the stars were not printed on her shorts. So it's an error. I don't know how common this error is, but I had to have it. I love errors. I thought that was the coolest thing. And this is a 2018 version versus 2016. The boxes changed slightly, but not too much. Yeah, I think the only thing that's very noticeable on the newer version is this line is thicker on the older one. This is a little bit thinner, but it's cool. I love getting errors like that. Okay, so we have the Flash from the TV series 2015, and then we have a 2020 reprint. I think it's just a slight difference in the paint, if I remember correctly. Like his lightning bolts are thicker and more pronounced on this one. And I think his chest symbol is a little bit different. Not a huge variant. Normally I probably wouldn't keep these, but I really like the Flash, so I decided just to keep it. I think the box was slightly faded on this one as well. So they changed the art a little bit, but very cool. Love those. Okay, we have Thor from the first Avengers movie. The one I have is kind of beat up. Not in the best shape. The thing is, he's an earlier pop, 2012. Anything from like 2011 to 2013-ish is kind of hard to get in good shape because people didn't put them in protectors back then, and they didn't really see them as collectibles, but just like a cheap toy. So the boxes got bounced around. And then we have another version of him. This is 2014, and the reason why I have 2 is because this is the original, you know, with the face and non-face. So just a box variant. Plus, he's a cool semi-grail, so it's kind of fun to have both versions of him. Okay, so we have the Flocked Energizer Bunny. This was traded into my shop like a month ago from, I think Lisa and Tito traded him in. And when I got him, I was like, oh, that's cool. He'll sell really well, because I had him already. But then when I got him out, I realized he's a sticker variant. So he originally was released as a Funko Shop version, and then they reissued him again at GameStop. I don't know if I like that. Because when you buy something off the shop, you're thinking you're getting like an exclusive to the shop. And then they made it exclusive again to GameStop. So it's like, were they going to put a sticker on every single store that they release Pops on? That just makes them kind of a common at that point. And yeah, this one came out in January 9th, 2020. And this was September 12th, 2019. So it's like they reprinted him. Which, you know, it wasn't, I thought at first maybe it was just a restock and they put new stickers. No, they actually made a new batch to sell to GameStop. I don't know if I like that. I don't think that's good for the hobby when they do stuff like that. I still had to have both versions though, because he is a cool pop. Okay, we have a Walgreens exclusive Miss Marvel. I love Miss Marvel, this character. And we have another version of her. Now, I'm not sure how well you can see. I'm actually going to take her out of the box, I guess. But one of these, her cape is like molded a little bit different. So it's just a cape variant or a molding variant. Okay, I got her out of her box. Let's take a look. So if you look, this cape is more spread out and this one is kind of like more together. It's not like a crazy variant, but I absolutely love this pop. It's one of my favorites and I love her character. So when I saw a weird variant like that, I was just like, you know, I have to have that. Normally I probably wouldn't have kept it. It's too slight of a variant, but since I'm such a fan of the character and she's one of my favorite pops, I had to have it. If it's one of my favorite pops, I like getting all the different variants that I can get. Okay, we have Tigress from Kung Fu Panda. Love Tigress, great character. And then we have Tigress again from Kung Fu Panda, but it's the International Pop Life release. I forget if it's just got the sticker. I don't think there was anything else that jumped out to me as like a difference. But I just thought it was kind of interesting to get the sticker variant of her. And I'm a big fan of the character, so I decided to keep that. Okay, so this is a very simple variant. It's like no variant at all, but it's one I notice every once in a while. I usually don't keep them, but I just got it recently while I was setting up for this video, so I decided to get it. So I have 2 versions of this pop, same exact pop. The only difference is this one has the date stamped on it, and this one has a small sticker on it. What I think happened in the case of this pop was that this one is stamped, and this one missed the stamping process for whatever reason. So they just put a sticker on there to kind of like fix the error in the place. I see that error every once in a while. I don't think it's that valuable. Some people might even think, oh, is that a bootleg because it's different? I think it's just them at the factory fixing a flaw that they made, or just a little mistake they made. Not really valuable. One I don't normally collect. I probably will end up selling one of these at some point, but I just thought for the purpose of this video, it'd be kind of cool to show you guys that. All right, so we have the Trick or Treat Sam. I got this one from Ryan. He bought it on Mercari and he realized it was a fake. So Mercari was really good and they refunded him right away and he didn't have to return it. He was going to just give it to me. I ended up giving him like $10 store credit to trade for something because I want all the bootlegs I can get just to have them on hand as reference. But I do have the legitimate Trick or Treat Sam so we can kind of look at it. If you saw a picture of this on Mercari or eBay, you could probably almost not tell the difference. I mean, the 57 looks odd, and that's usually one thing you look for. Oh, and also, I think the movies is off. Yeah, I call it the movies because the MO look really wide and the V's look like proper. So there's something about the font on this one that you can tell is the fake. And, but the rest of the box doesn't look too bad. The fake here, this one looks kind of like, has a white outline to it a little bit. But the main thing, again, I'll kind of squeeze them, is the flim, like this one you can tell is flimsier. When you just squeeze it, it kind of pops up more. This one is a little bit sturdier and it's really glossy. The fake one is glossy. And if you look at the Pops itself, this one, his face is kind of like squished in. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but it's kind of squished in. The Pop looks kind of worse and it looks cheap. So yeah, another fake that you have to look out for. Okay, we have the original Dark Knight Rises Batman. Absolutely love this Batman. This one's from 2012. On the back, it has Bane and Catwoman from that movie. Then they reissued him, I think a year or two later. Let's see, 2014. But they made it the Dark Knight Trilogy. So this one's for the specific movie. The same exact Batman, but it's for the trilogy, so it's a box change. A lot of times people, like on Mercari and stuff, will message me on this one and ask me, that bootleg, it doesn't match the Pop Price Guide picture. It's not bootleg, it's just a later issue of the same exact Pop, so they changed the box. I like when they do that. When they change the box, especially a big change like this, it is cool. I think they should do all reprints like that. So if you look on the back, this one has the Joker and the bank robber Joker. So it's got different characters. So the two different releases had different characters. Very cool Pop though. I love both of these. These are amazing. Very, very awesome. I think they were underpriced for the longest time, but recently the prices have started to spike a little bit. Okay, we have Ariel from The Little Mermaid. This is a 2016 version. She's got a glitter dress. I have a few versions of her. That one's, I think, was supposed to have a sticker because I have one without glitter. And I'm not sure if someone did this themselves or if they released a glitter version. So that might just be either a homemade version or a variant just missing its sticker. And then I have another version of her. Same exact one. What was let me look at these again. I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, this is also a paint variant. This one, her skirt is vinyl. This one, her skirt's painted. So again, this is another one where they did a changeover. Although it looks like they did vinyl first, then painted. So 2016 vinyl, 2017 they painted. So this is like the Batman's. It's another just difference between vinyl and painted. Okay, we have the really cool Halloween stitch. It's a FYE exclusive. And then we have the same exact Pop, but it's the international sticker. So that's just the sticker variant. This one you would have got like Pop Culture or maybe like Underground Toys in the UK. Something like that. I'm assuming it's Pop Culture. Usually most of these international ones people just order from Pop Culture because it's relatively cheap to get from there. You can't always get them. Sometimes they restrict them. But sometimes they end up after like a year they'll let you order them. I love these Pop though. This is a cool Pop. Okay, we have Ed and Ian from Cowboy Bebop. Really love that Pop. And then I recently got one that's either a paint variant or an error. Not sure how you can see it, but in this goggle, it's painted in the middle. And this one, the paint's missing. And this is a 2020 version. This is a 2018 version. So in the reprint, I don't know if they just changed the paint and they're all different like that, or if it's just like a one-off. That one I have to research further. Very cool Pops though. Okay, this is just a sticker variant. We have Baba Louie from the 2018 New York Comic Con. And then we have the shared sticker. So again, not like super exciting of a variant because most people see those, but I like getting both stickers when I have a chance. If it's going to cost a lot though, I'll go for the shared sticker because I'd rather have the Pop for a cheap price. I don't really overvalue these stickers, but when I can get a chance to get a con sticker for cheap, I'll end up getting it. Okay, we have a regular Vegeta. I have a couple of these. I think these are just paint variants. So this one, if you notice, he's kind of a paler. This one's a little bit more orange. Let's see, this is 2018. This is May, this is September. So they changed the paint a little bit. And then I have one more. This is 2016. So this is an earlier version. Also, if you could see, yeah, this box, the warning changed. So that's probably the newest one. Yeah, that's the newest one. So it's a slight box variant, slight paint variant. I think the positioning of the thing from the face changes a little bit. Really not one I should be keeping the difference because it's just very slight. But yeah, actually, I guess this one, these two are more exciting to me because it's a more of a difference in the paint. But I do like having different variants. And again, one day, if I have a space and the money, I would probably collect one of each printing just to have an archive, just for reference. So I can put something together and make it easier for people to figure out what they have. Okay, and finally, we have the Arrow Unmasked. We have the con sticker and the shared sticker. And if I remember correctly, I feel like his face looks slightly more red. So I don't know if... Like this one says 319, 528. So I don't know if they like reprinted it, or I guess the con, it wasn't until July. So they must have printed a bunch of these first, sent them out to the stores to hold until the con came out. And then they printed these ones a little bit closer to the con because they were going to sell them themselves. They didn't have to distribute them. And they changed the paint just a little teeny bit. I believe, yeah, the box looks exactly the same. I don't really see any difference in the color. So I think it was just the paint job slightly changed on that one. Very cool. All right, that was a ton of fun. I had so much fun showing you guys all the different variants that I've found over the years. It's not all my variants. I definitely have more variants. I just didn't pull out. I just figured once we got to about 100 variants, that would be enough to make a really fun video. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite variant was in this video. I'm going to put a couple other mega epic Funko Pop hauls right there. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!